Okay, here we are, guys. All systems go on the live for the London session today. Starts in about 6 minutes. But the reason I'm coming in early is because I wanted to share my chart with you, what I did this morning. I didn't do live this morning for the Asian session, but I did take a trade. And I just wanted to explain that a little bit here. You can see the notes I made and all uh, the pointers and all the information. So, because I journal these, I copy this image and then I keep it in my journal. So on this first candle, this is the 8 o'clock candle, 8 o'clock a.m. Indo-China time, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I took the trade. If you can see the pin bar, it broke above the trend line. So I took the trade right after it broke above the trend line at 8:03. And once it breaks above the trend line, that for me is a valid trade setup. And then I have the option to either wait for the candle to close above the trend line, or I can go ahead and take the trade. And I do both. Sometimes I wait for the candle to close, sometimes I take it after the break. But I was looking at this big bullish candle before that and expecting some move away up from this pivot line. So I went ahead and took the trade, and then it went sideways for the next hour. Didn't do anything. So I just, I decided after I took the trade, okay, it pulled back, and I'm gonna sit on my hands and let it play out. And if it goes against me, then I would accept the loss. You see the stop loss here below my safety line, the green line, the upward trend line, and that would have been a 1% loss, which is the maximum that I take. I prefer 0.5%, but sometimes I can't get that. So 1% would have been the loss. And then at 10 o'clock, no, sorry, 9 o'clock, 1 hour later, we got this big bullish candle. So it went well into profit. And then it went sideways again. So with these small candles, one red candle and then two small green candles, I thought I didn't see the momentum for it to continue up to my take profit, which is the first resistance level. So I exited there. So that was a trade that took 2 hours and 9:45. Yeah, 2 hours. And that's my day trade. Okay, 2 hours on one trade, that's a day trade. I have held them longer, but that's enough for me. And I was, as it turned out, as you can see on the chart here, it just went sideways after that, started to fall down, and then at 12:30 p.m. Indochina time, just after midnight Eastern Standard Time, big drop down, and you see if I had held on to that trade throughout the day, I would have hit the stop loss. So this was a good execution of the trade, a good take profit, and well done, Rick. Okay. So I just wanted to share that with you. That's how I execute my trades. That's how it all worked out. Now I'm going to clear off all this information. I need to reset my charts for the London session. Get rid of all this stuff here. That was my exit there. And that was the stop loss. And all that's done. And then now, nice clean chart. And need to reset my trend lines, adjust my trend lines. Grab it over here. Okay, and then the downward trend line, make a new setting for that one. Okay, now we're all set. Now waiting for the London session. So as you can see here, the blue line, this is the pivot point for the day. That's at 4202, which is right where we were yesterday, actually. So 4202, or the zone is 4200, the strong psychological number. It just broke a little bit below that just now. We got to 4199. So 4200. Just hit that and it bounced up. So, and the second candle here, this is the 245 candle before London opens, and it's also green. So we might be getting a change in direction here after this move down since the, Asian session. Might getting a move back up to our first resistance level there, which is, 42.43, 42.40. Sorry, the numbers are kinda small on my chart. I have to really look closely. Big moves, yesterday, you saw in the, US session. This is the 9:30. This is when Wall Street opened, and boy, they just crashed the price of gold. It went all the way down to 41.68. Just huge, massive move. I don't trade during the US session. This would have been a good one if you, took advantage of that, a really good big move. And then, after that, the 11 PM Eastern Standard Time, uh, started to move back up. So a big drop down and a big move back up. And then here we are with today's move. And let's just see what we get. Another 1 second. Now London has just opened, and we'll see what happens. If it comes down and breaks below my trend line and the pivot line, then I'll be looking to go short. And, we might be going back to the lower prices from yesterday at, what was that? 41.68 over here. Okay, we could go either direction. But if it's gonna go up, then I need to wait. Maybe I can go a little bit steeper here with my trend line. Let me see. There's my point B. Okay, coming a little bit steeper there. And that one was at 11:45. Yeah, I can come in a little bit steeper again. I like to have about 3 to 4 hours of data before I put another trend line in. Okay, now that's looking much better. Gives me more likelihood that I can take a trade earlier than I would have been able to do without those 2 new trend lines. So my trend you saw me just set up a new trend line. I like to go back at least 3 to 4 hours before where I am at the moment before I put a new trend line. Like, I couldn't put a trend line in here or, any closer than that. This one is that was, 3.5 hours ago, that one. So if I get a break above this first trend line here, this first downward trend line, then I could look to take a long trade, but I might not. My my bread and butter let me get over here and see if anybody's watching. Oh, there's 2 watching. No, you haven't, commented. Let me know if you're watching, where you're watching from. My bread and butter is the Asian Pacific session, which starts at 8 AM Indochina time. That's in Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Thailand, or 8 PM Eastern Standard Time in New York. That's my bread and butter. That's the time I love to trade. That's when Singapore and Shanghai open. Shanghai is a coal exchange just like London. So I can oftentimes get good moves. And sometimes when it moves in the Asian session, it will set the trend for the day. Sometimes. Okay, nothing is predictable in Forex, nothing. Just because it did something yesterday or last week doesn't mean it will do it again. That's just the way the market is, the way it works. We take it one day at a time. We let the price tell us what it's going to do. My trades are based on price action. When the price tells me what it's going to do, then I take a trade. Let me jump over here to the calendar right quick before we have anything going on. Let's see if you can see that. Yeah, there's the Forex calendar. It's forexfactory.com. Shows us the high impact news that we have coming out today, and there's already been a couple of items, one on the Australian, one on the Swiss, and In the US session, we have the ADP non-farm employment change. That can be a big mover and shaker. And then at an hour and a half after that, we have the ISM services manufacturing data. So those are two big high impact news items in today's Wall Street session, in the US session. One of those, the ADP non-farm, that comes out before Wall Street opens, 1 hour and 15 minutes before Wall Street opens. We'll go back to my chart, gold chart. You should always be aware of the high impact news items. I don't trade the news. I don't recommend that you trade the news. The news can be very volatile. You oftentimes just get a knee jerk reaction to the news, and then it goes right back to what it was doing after just an hour or two. Except for one item, and that's the interest rate change. That one will usually move the price for the entire day or several days when the central banks of the various economies uh, release data that they have lowered or raised the interest rate. That one is very, very strong news and has a huge impact. I don't trade that one, but I certainly do watch it. And you can, after the news has been released, wait a few minutes, 15 minutes or so till you get a good indication of what the trend is going to be, what direction it's going to take, and then you can take a trade based on that because it will usually go for several hours or several days on the interest rate change. And if you're watching, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Click the little bell so you'll be notified when I make these live videos. And this is all I'm doing for the rest of this year is live sessions, sometimes with London, but usually always, almost always with the Asian Pacific market in the morning time in Asia. And I'll be doing these for a couple more weeks. And then we start getting close to Christmas and I stop trading until after New Year's. So if you're watching, still a couple people watching, let me know where you're watching from. I do appreciate that. Don't forget to like and share. That always helps the channel. And I'm looking to try and promote this a lot more, the live trading, and get more people in. I'll just go ahead and go over to my Telegram channel and promote that right quick. Oh, come on. There we go. And go back to the chart. What are we getting here? Nothing? Yeah, it looks like a nothing burger so far. Not much happening at all. Zero, nothing. Sometimes you'll get the market will appear to be, perhaps, I don't know if it is or not, but appear to be waiting for that high impact news. And the ADP non-farm employment changes is really big news. Only comes out once a month. So it could be that the market might wait for that to see what it's going to be before there's any significant move. And we have bounced off of this pivot point already 3 times today. It bounced here really close, bounced here again. Of course, this is a 15-minute chart I'm looking at, but we're kind of stuck on this for the last 2 hours on this pivot point of 4,200. So if I don't see any action here on this first candle, maybe I'll go ahead and watch through to the next candle, and let's see if we're going to get any action. Today is Wednesday, midweek. Okay, 10 minutes gone and still not seeing anything at all. That is the 3 o'clock candle right there we're looking at. Very small candle, but it's bullish. Gold is now bullish on the day chart. It's been bullish for a while, and it just turned neutral on the 4-hour chart because of that big drop down last night in the US session. Gold is neutral on the H4 chart. So we could be going in either direction. We could go to lower prices. We did yesterday in the US session. Now that green candle getting a little bit of momentum and now falling back. Trading at 4206, 4207. Does anybody in the group here trade crypto? Anybody watching that trades crypto? Let's just look at Bitcoin right quick. Bitcoin making a gigantic move since yesterday. Let me reset my chart. Made a big move from 83,000 and now it's trading at 93,000. It's moved up $10,000 in 48 hours. Amazing. Moved up $10,000 in 48 hours. After it got really low there for a while, looked like I mean, it was bearish. It dropped, what was it, $46,000 in 6 weeks. That was in October and November. $46,000 drop in 6 weeks. Amazing. But now it's coming back up. Now trading at 93,000. I don't trade Bitcoin, but I buy on a regular basis. And now's a good time to buy. We've been at 126,000 before. So I buy Bitcoin and just hold on to it as a digital asset for the future. What do we got here on our first candle? Nothing. It's a nothing burger, they call it. Let's look at the DXY right quick. Oh, continuing decline of the US dollar. Been going on ever since Trumpty Dumpty took office. Continuing decline of the US dollar. And that should be good for gold. Typically is, but we're not seeing anything at the moment. Looks like there might not be a trade for me in this London session, but it's only the first candle. This is the boring part of trading. Trading can be very boring. You're just sitting on your hands, just looking at the candles, and this is where it starts to play on your emotions. You feel like, well, I need to do something. I need to click buy or sell. No, you don't. You need to keep sitting on your hands. And just when the market wears you out with a boredom, then you make that fatal mistake of clicking buy or sell when you shouldn't have clicked buy or sell. It's what the market does. It plays on your head, and you have to detach from your emotions. I have a trade strategy. I need to trust the strategy and only take a trade based on the strategy. And sometimes I'll take a loss. Most of the time, I will take a profit. That's just what trading is. And at all times, protect your capital. Always use a stop loss. If this goes up and breaks my trend line, okay, then I'm going to take a long trade. And I would put my stop loss below my safety line. That would be at 41.98. I might put it at 41.97, right there, 41.97. So I know where my stop loss is going to be before I even take the trade. That's called planning the trade and trading the plan. Now, if it goes down and breaks the green line and I go short, then I put my stop loss above the red safety line, and that would be at 42.11. And usually that's about a 1%, no more, 1% loss in capital if it should hit the stop loss. So I know where I'm gonna put my stop loss. I know where I'm gonna take a trade. I know where I'm gonna put the stop loss and take a trade. It's already everything is set. I'm just waiting for the price to tell me what it's gonna do. Still only 2 people watching. So now we've got our second candle, our second 15-minute candle. Looks like it wants to go up. Got high, at least on these, the first few candles here, we've got higher highs, higher lows. But now I need to wait for that next this candle here to finish. So if you're still watching, let me know where you're watching from. Kind of boring sitting here by myself. Let me know if you got any questions. I'll answer any questions you might have. Feel free to comment. Hmm. Very small start, very weak start to the London market. Sometimes it starts very strong, sometimes it doesn't. It's not predictable. There's no guarantee of what the market is going to do or which way it's going to go. Just wondering if anybody is there, if anybody's here and will wake people up. You heard that air horn. Let me know that you're here. Boy, isn't this terribly boring today? Really amazing. Minutes after the London Open and getting nothing at all. Yeah, who is that? FX Elevate. Gold will push up. Okay. Let's see if it will push up. And FX Elevate, when will it push up? In the London session or the US session? Yeah, gold is bullish on the day chart. And thanks for your comment. I appreciate it. I know it's now 5 people watching. Gold is bullish on the day chart, neutral on the 4-hour chart, and if it should push up, then I would be expecting it to go to, our next resistance level, which is, what's that? 42.40. If it's gonna push up, then it's likely to go up to 42.40. Once it gets started, it might take it a few hours. It sometimes it's not it takes 2 or 3 hours for it to really kick into gear. Yeah, I said that a few minutes ago, FX Elevate. It could be waiting for that news tonight. It's in the US session, it's the ADP non-farm employment change, and that's a big one. It only comes out once a month. So, the market could just be hanging out for that. I've seen that before. I don't really make notes of when exactly that happens, but oftentimes it does seem like generally the market will wait to see what that big high impact news is gonna be. And that is a big one, the ADP non-farm employment change. And I don't know if you noticed on the calendar, if you're an experienced trader, we used to get the non-farm employment change, which is the really big one, on the first Friday of every month. But that's changed. Now they've moved it to, the 3rd Thursday or something. It's later on in the month. That happened last month in November, they did that. And then if you check the calendar again, forexfactory.com, it's also the same thing. They've moved it to, let me just call that up again and see what day it is exactly. And I believe it's on the 20th. No, it's on the Thursday. Well, I don't even see it now. Thought it was on the 20th. They've moved it. Don't tell me they moved it back to this week. Oh, GDP weekly. Let me see here. Not there. It's not there. That's on that one, employment change. Go to the next week. Nope, it's not that week. See if it's the 3rd week. Oh, here we go. It's on the 20th of no, that was November. We're in December. I need to move. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong days on the calendar here. Oh, come on. Uh, no, it's not that week. Now I'm on December. Okay. And it's not there. And it's not there. Where is the non-farm payrolls? Is it even gonna be oh, here it is. It's on the 16th. Non-farm employment changes on the 16th of December. So that is, 2 weeks from today. It's on a it's on a Tuesday. Oh gosh. Yeah, uh, just call me Rick, FX Elevate. Ray is my last name. Let me go over to the Bitcoin chart, and there's Bitcoin on the 15-minute chart. So the non-farm payrolls is on the 16th of December on a Tuesday. That is so weird. It used to, for years, it was always on the first Friday of the month. But, Trumpty Dumpty has really thrown a spanner into the works with all of this data that's supposed to come out and that we're supposed to follow and trust. So there's the BTC chart. What did you want to comment on that or have anything to say about it? Anybody else that's still watching, just let me know where you're watching from. Leave a comment below over to the side there. BTC, Bitcoin trading at 92,892. And that's up from 83,000 just 48 hours ago. So it's moved up $10,000 in 48 hours. Oh, my thoughts on Bitcoin. I already said I don't trade Bitcoin. Okay, I buy Bitcoin on a regular basis. Dollar cost averaging. I don't look at the price, I just buy. At least once a month, sometimes more often, as a digital asset for the future. But I don't trade Bitcoin, so I can't help you there. I don't like the volatility, and I've never really tried to get into a deep analysis of Bitcoin. It can be very profitable if you get the move right, absolutely. And I do know some traders that trade Bitcoin and do well, but it's not my cup of tea. My cup of tea is gold, which I have watched for years, and I fully understand it. I know how it moves. I have a good relationship with it. I know what to expect. I know when to expect it. I know what time it will move, generally speaking, of course. And next year, I'm going to be looking at adding one more asset. I only trade gold, and next year, I'm going to be looking at adding platinum to my charts. And go back to gold. Okay, still a nothing burger here. We're almost 30 minutes into the London session and getting nothing. No action whatsoever. Yeah, I've looked at some indexes before, but I follow a trader. I know someone that trades platinum and does very well, and platinum does trend very well, and it really respects the trend lines. It works well with the trend line strategy that I use. So that's why I'm looking, and I have watched it for a while, and that's why I'm going to look at adding it to my profile. So I'll be trading gold and platinum next year. I only traded gold this year, the entire year. I only traded gold. I'm going to add platinum next year. There's so many things you can trade, and it doesn't matter what you trade really. But I highly recommend to people who get into trading that you only trade one or two assets, and that you build a relationship with those assets. You can trade anything you want, but know what you're trading and get to know the asset very, very well. Build a relationship with it so you understand when it moves, how it moves, why it moves, and that will greatly add to your success. I've seen too many traders with a dozen different things on their MT4, MT5. They got all the major pairs, they got some minor pairs, they got some commodities. You can't keep track of all that much stuff. And for retail traders, you really need to be focused. You want to look at the platinum chart. Yeah, I can do that quickly. I haven't marked it up recently. I need to probably adjust my trend lines on there. Yeah, I definitely need to adjust my trend lines. Okay, let me see what I've got here. Reset the chart view. So that one is no longer valid. And this one, I need to adjust that one. Put that one. I haven't done this for a couple of days, so just quickly adjusting my trend lines. I'm getting it ready, getting the charts ready so that I can start off. After New Year's, I'll be trading this one. Now we've been getting sideways movement for a couple of days. It's really reached an all-time high here and now starting to trend down. So if you had your trend lines back here last week, you could have seen that break, that change in direction, and followed it really well and got some good profit here in this downward move. Some really good profit. And it really respects the trend lines very well. You get good moves up and good moves down. Let's look at the 4-hour chart on platinum. Yeah, look at this. See here? That's almost 10 days of an upward move. Boom. And then over here you had a long downward move. Boom. So I really like what I see with platinum as far as using this trend line strategy that I follow, that I use. Go back to gold. Okay. Can I talk about my trend line strategy? Yeah, it's real simple. And that's why I like it because it's so simple. I used to have like 10 different indicators on the chart. What a mess that was. Just lost a lot of money. This is years and years ago. I like simple. And the trend lines are very, very simple. It's not rocket science. That's all there is on the chart, except for the pivot point for the day and the support and resistance. The yellow lines are support and resistance. This is resistance, this is support, this is a pivot point for the day, which is support. I make it blue so that you can see that it's the pivot point. It's the starting point for the day. All right. And the trend lines I do from a top down analysis to put on my trend lines. I start with a monthly chart and put the trend lines in place appropriately, then move down to the weekly chart and add more trend lines, then move down to the daily, and then the 4-hour, then the 1 hour, and the chart that I trade on, the 15-minute. And I adjust these every day. You only have to adjust the ones on the chart you're trading because this top red trend line you see here, it goes back to the all-time high. You don't have to keep adjusting that. There was only one all-time high. So it's only this day where I have to adjust. Today, I adjust my trend lines on this day. And then, if I don't trade the London session, they will break above or outside of the trend line. So I'll need to adjust them before the US session, make some adjustments on the day. That's all you have to do is adjust the trend lines on the day. And the green upward trend line, okay, it starts here and then it has a touch point there. If it breaks below that trend line, I go short. And the red downward trend line, if it breaks above that trend line, I go long. And that's kind of it. And then for the stop loss, let's say if I go long here, if I go long, then I put my stop loss below the green line, which is what we would call the safety line. The red line, if it breaks above that, that's my action line. I take action. I go long. I take a buy trade. But inversely, if it breaks the green line is my action line, so I go short. And then the red line becomes my safety line, so I put my stop loss above the red line. And that's kind of it in a nutshell. Yeah, it's simple. The thing is, it's simple and it works. I have 90% profitable trades. And I've been using this for this entire year of 2025. It's the only thing I use. I don't trade anything else but this strategy. Well, that's funny that you mentioned that FX Elevate because that's where I learned the strategy from. Tori Trades. I found her late last year, and it's interesting. I started watching her videos, and I said, this is crazy. I mean, from day one, you know what a trend line is. Okay, day one, but I had never looked at it with her perspective. That you can use it for entries and exits and safety loss, stop loss, and take profit. I never looked at it that way. And so I just, watched more of her videos. I took a course actually. She had a course last year for $300. I just like, wow, it's amazing. I started using it at the beginning of this year, January 2025, and I never looked back, never looked back. It's the only thing I use. It works, and she will definitely attest to that. She has been trading for 10 years, same as me. I've been trading Forex for 10 years. I've been trading New York Stock Exchange since about the year 2000. But I've been trading Forex for 10 years, and this just works, man. It just works. High percentage of profitable trades, 90% profitable trades. Now I'm on the 15-minute chart. You can trade different time frames. I'm on the 15-minute chart. I started with a 5-minute chart, but I didn't like the 5-minute chart. Too much noise, too many fake outs. So I moved to the 15-minute chart. And now after New Year's, I'm going to go to the 1-hour chart. And that means I will take fewer trades. And then, like Tori, eventually I'll move to the 4-hour chart. So I'll take even fewer trades. She only takes 10 trades in a year, 10 or 12 trades in a year. Man, you talk about freedom. That's what trading should be. But it's what most retail traders come in and they stare at the charts for 16, 18 hours a day, trying to figure this thing out, trying to make money and blowing up their account and then giving up. But those that stick with it and find their way, it can provide absolute freedom. Hey, I have been here for almost 45 minutes. I didn't realize that. And I'm going to get out of here now. I've got somebody waiting for me. I'm going to go and have coffee, afternoon coffee. And I'm not always in the London session, but I'm almost always in the Asian session. And that's at 8 a.m. Indochina time in Southeast Asia, because that's where I live. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, you're welcome. Call me Rick. Rick is my first name. Ray is my surname. And thank you for chatting. I appreciate your comments, your questions. Great to have you here. And hope you'll be joining again another time. Enjoy the technical analysis more than trading. Well, I don't know about that. Well, yeah, I see your point. Okay, I'm out of here. Have a great day wherever you are in the world, and hope to see you again soon.